It's the Gear Tester here, and welcome to my initial impressions video on the Spyderco Endura 4. This is an awesome folding knife. It weighs in at just 3.65 ounces. It has a blade that's made of VG10 stainless steel. The blade is 3.75 inches overall, and it has a handle that's 5 inches long. Overall open, so from the tip of the blade to the end of the handle, it's 8.75 inches. So this is actually a relatively large folding knife. In terms of the handle, in terms of the blade, you've got almost a 4-inch long blade there. And I like its size. In terms of its length, I like the size of the handle. It gives you a lot to grab onto. You can choke back a little bit, you can choke forward, choke up and do carving tasks easily. But I also like how thin the knife is. Okay, it's a very thin profile. As compared to something like a Benchmade Griptilian, you can see that the Spyderco Endura 4 is thinner. It is a little bit longer. Okay, that's something you need to be aware of. And it does have a lockback design rather than any number of different ways that you could have a locking blade on a folding knife. Okay, I like it. I like the fact that this has a full flat ground blade. Okay, I think that's a very, very cool feature, that the blade is full flat ground. Now that's great for slicing and cutting things like vegetables, doing food prep, cutting fish or wild game, stuff like that. That full flat ground is really going to make this a very slicey knife. It does have a relatively thin tip or point there, something you want to be aware of. This is not a knife that I would use and abuse out in the tip, okay, because it's so delicate. But because it's delicate, it does that great job of slicing, cutting, okay. So that's a trade-off that you're making. You know, it fits nicely in your pocket because of this design, the way in which this handle is designed. If you carry it in your pants pocket where you want to reach your hand in, your hand actually slides smoothly over it. That's the case too of this little Spyderco Delica 4 that you can see here. The design is basically the same, and I don't know which one came first, but in essence the Delica is a smaller version of the Endura, and I really like the way this fits in my pocket, and my hand can just slide right down by it in either case. Okay, so I've been using this Spyderco Delica 4 for the better part of 7 months, and it is also made of the VG10 stainless steel, so I'm sure that the Endura's blade will hold up because the Delica has done such a great job. I just want to compare and contrast the Spyderco Endura 4 here in my initial impressions video versus my much used and abused Benchmade Griptilian and my Cold Steel Recon 1. Both knives that I have used and really liked for a long period of time. I think that the Spyderco Endura 4 measures up well against them. It has a more delicate blade, and that's true, but that blade is better, the Endura's blade, because of that full flat ground, is better at doing food prep, better at slicing through things because you're moving less material, less blade through. Certainly the case if you're comparing it in terms of cutting through things capability to this Recon 1. This has got a much thicker blade and does not slice nearly as easily. It's not a good carving tool, or not as good. It does fine carving, but not as good as the Endura 4 from Spyderco would do. I really like the hollow ground blade which this Benchmade Griptilian 550HG has on it. The 154 cm blade is also excellent, but I think that the full flat ground on the Spyderco Endura 4 would also do well compared to the Benchmade. So these are all relatively large knives. I think that the Endura 4 is actually the lightest out of this bunch. It's certainly the thinnest. Okay, I've already mentioned that here, but if you compare them, certainly the thinnest. And I'm very, very happy with it. I think it's going to be a great blade. So if you want to know any other information, ask me questions. If you like this video, I would encourage you to subscribe to my channel for more quality video reviews. You'll be updated when I release my full review on the Spyderco Endura 4 in the next coming months. Thank you very much for your views and your subscriptions. This is the Gear Tester signing off.